Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to our 19th Fireside Chat. It's the latest in a long line of fascinating members of the community. And I'm pleased to say that after much persuasion, we've managed to have one of the most fascinating members of the community, or certainly a man with one of the most fascinating stories, come and talk to us this evening. I have to do a short commercial first for the Jewish Historical Society, of whom respected Chairman Green is here this evening. To lead us, we have some lovely greetings cards painted by a member of the community, Louise Soloway, outside for you to purchase, and we encourage you to purchase them. They're beautiful and they're very useful. We have some books and monographs, and they're also on sale outside. Not much more for me to say apart from thank you, and I'll be trying to keep people who come in the door a bit quiet. But those of you who are already in, you've probably got one of these. Can I ask you to join me now in pressing the right button so it doesn't go off? Either silent, that's not vibrate, for those of you with a vibrate button, but let's turn them off for an hour. It's very difficult. I had to persuade Avi to do it. He wasn't very keen. But,
nor did he listen to you.
He's still pretending to turn it off. But thank you very much, and I'd be grateful if you welcome Avi Nagar and Sharon.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and as always, a very great thanks, because it really does, ladies and gentlemen, take a lot of preparation on the part of our guests to put the information together in order to tell you so much about themselves and to open up in a very, very personal way to all of the friends here in the Jewish community. So Avi, thank you very much. Avi, dealing with your background first of all, your mother was born in Israel, but your father came to Israel from the Yemen. How had he come to Israel?
Wasn't a terrorist. Just he arrived to Israel in 1939, born in Yemen. And on the age around 14, he left Yemen by himself. You know, it was a movement those days around the world. It was Jewish coming back to Israel, Messiah, all this kind of thing. He left the house, passed to Aden. He had a lot of trouble to pass on Aden. And at one of the times that they caught him, he was a Yemen with the two pious, and the British cut one of his pious to punish him, that he will not pass anymore. That's what create later on that he will be in Etzel, and so much against them. And from Yemen he moved with a group to Egypt, and from there he arrived to Israel.
He arrived in Israel alone, or
Yes.
with members of the family?
No, he came alone.
And was he himself a member of a large family or a small family, or?
Relatively it was a small family. He was one of four brothers and sisters, and he was the oldest son.
And as you say, this experience of having his payot cut off by the British led to him playing a fairly active role with Etzel or Ergun, which is, at that time, it was the Zionist paramilitary group. And he was active and fighting in that unit.
Yes, he was related to Etzel. If the people know what remember the time, this was the Etzel group, the one that was under Menachem Begin, Jabotinsky.
And this was something that was important to him and formed part of your own concerns and feelings about Israel as you grew up?
Yes. I think that I lived in the house of idea of Etzel. In a certain way, I feel sorry that I born a little bit late. I wanted to be belong to Etzel because I would read a lot of the books of Begin, the timing. I will live in this most of the time.
All right, well, we'll hear more. Battles were fought later, even if it wasn't within Etzel at the time. You were born after the State of Israel had actually been declared.
Correct.
You were the second child in your family. Your eldest sister is now a very eminent surgeon in America.
In Israel.
In Israel, thank you. Tell me, since you were the second child, how come your father was so delighted that you'd arrived?
My father, so we say, is Yemenite. He got married to another Yemenite woman. And when my mother born in Israel, so her family, her brother, sister, there was in the beginning 13, 5 of them died, there was 8. And there was very like elite, the born in Israel. My father was naive from Yemen. And when he got married to my mother, even on the way, they quite slapped him, like he's not exactly Israeli. The accent, the way of looking, the way of talking to the life. When my mother delivered, they told him that he had a boy. He was so excited. It's like the revenge for the family. So he ordered the wine. He go to the hospital. He check. He got a girl. So he came, like what in the army we say, on 60 by 60s, crawling quietly at night, that nobody will know. The second time, he hit it. So he didn't tell anybody until he was sure that he's there. And I was his favorite as a boy. Doesn't matter that my sister gave him all the honor, but I was at the time the favorite.
You were a good boy, easy to live with,
When I was at home, it was very easy now. I was too energetic. Today they have HDDD, I don't know what DDID or whatever, all of this kind of thing. I was without all DDD, I had everything. So, when I was 13, I was like 128 centimeter, and I was 24 kilo. I was like this, thin, but full of energy. And what I loved the most was football. No school, nothing, football I liked the most. And this was part of the problem of the house, because the moment we finish the school, not like today, you go at 7 o'clock, come at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, oh, such a life. We finish at 12, 1 o'clock, from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, we play soccer. We had a life. But the only problem was that the parents want us to come home to make homework, to help in the house, not like that. Today we have 1 armor, 2 armor, 1 driver, 2 driver. We need to come, the brother to the work to help. So, but we try to play soccer. And every day I got warning not to go to play soccer, and every day I was in the soccer. So at the day end usually with sticks. My father come from work, he didn't make any homework, he didn't prepare what he told me. And then he needed to make his job, so he started to spank me left and right. It was, but I love soccer. So he wanted to promise that next day I will not do it. I said I will not lie, I will go. So I did every day.
You went to school at a yeshiva school.
Yes.
And what kind of impact did that have on you?
You see, they sent me to school, to the yeshiva, to solve the problem of the house. They thought they transferred the problem from home to somebody else. So I went to yeshiva until I went to the army. I loved the time at the yeshiva. It was really a challenge. Not only for me, for the rabbi too. I like rabbi from those days. I don't give them much credit.
And the rabbis love you back, I have no doubt. Now, you've talked about your army days, and we've heard that you were this tiny thing, forgive me, a short, skinny guy, and army straight after yeshiva. Were the army keen to take you on, or were there any problems with that?
You see, by law, in Israel, you have to go to the army. Until they met me, they want me to come, but they met me the 7th time. I was so tiny one. I weighed 42 kilo. The army was afraid that for the first week they will have to have a search group to look for me. So they decide better I will let me go until I will get some weight, maybe 1 year, 2 years. But as usually, maybe is a thing from childhood. When I want something, I usually achieve it. So it was quite fight with the army. They decide finally to take me.
Initially, they were giving you something like a 10-day period in the army to see how.
Yeah, you see, we have certain training with the army. If you go, for example, to the frontline group. So we have like 13 if it's Tzanchanim, 14 months training. If it was like to be service soldier, so like 3 months. And if you are only the one that the army don't know if you will die or not, they give you 10 days. So they put me on the 10 days. But they put me on the 10 day. But then after you finish, they make all the group a party. But the party was such a shameless. So I was ashamed to go home. I absolutely didn't want to go because I grew up with the idea of the Etzel, that I'm front line, and all this kind of fantasy. But so finally they put me on almost dead person, like thinking now to send me home. So definitely I didn't want to go. I refused. And as a community law, when something doesn't go my mind, I usually refuse.
Did you have to employ any special intelligence tactics in order to stay on in the army?
You see, the thing is, I didn't want to go, so they told me, okay, the only problem is medical problem. So they told me to wait me again after the 10 days, you see how we are.
To weigh you?
To weigh me, because the problem was the weight. And when they took me to check me with the doctor, I didn't realize that they asked me to take the clothes off. Because I put on my clothes, stones. I put on the, and when they hold me, they found out that I got a stone all over. And I remember the doctor was in shock, but the officer that took me quite liked it. He saw that I'm quite determined. So they decided to take me for 10 months now to make another training for 3 months. So I went to the other one, 3 months, but then, when I finished the 3 months, I realized, in the 10th month they want to put me in the intelligence. When I finished the 3 months, they put me on the service. I needed to give spare parts for the car. So they put me on the base in Petah Tikva those days, which was the base of, to be a lieutenant, lieutenant course those days. And you just give the spare part for the...
You fix motor vehicles?
I didn't fix anything. They just asked me at the shop, I gave it to them again. The only problem that you see that the people that you deal with them is disaster, or the driver. You have a Filipinos driver, more or less it was the same. They don't understand, they don't listen. They was very, very rude. And they did a thing that quite a shame. They would bring young girl to the base, what was against the law. And I grew up as an Orthodox. And to see such a thing was very strong against me. So I wrote a letter to the general in the army, Koach Adam, how do you say?
Human resources. Human resources.
Yeah, human resources, right? Aluf Shmuel Eyal, those days. I wrote him a personal letter, maybe 12 pages, about all my life, all my thoughts. 3 days after this, the Rassar, the officer with on the head. Yeah, Rassar, yeah. He took me right away and I said, they come, they dress me up and take me to the court. Left, right. What happened? You cannot write by the general by yourself. What is it? Every soldier went to the general. The general have no time to fight. So they took me to the court of the head of the base. He was Aluf Mishnez, who was like colonel. And they decide I need to put in jail right now on what I did. So in Israel, before you go, before the judge, they ask if you're like to be judged in front of me. Most of the time, you don't answer, say yes, okay. And I say, no, I'm not interested. And I was just such a soldier, and he was a colonel. He was in shock, so he cannot judge me. So they took me out, they put me in the one below him, that I am allowed in Israel to say twice that I'm not allowed, that they cannot judge me. The third one I have to. So when they took me to the second one now, they started like from the beginning. I said, by law, you cannot do it because anyone that can be more than colonel, you cannot. So they got a problem. So they just gave me a slap and took me out, and they put me for 1 month that I cannot leave the army. And certain way I was making quite happy because I was ashamed to go home every day. I was to be on the front line. But it's happened that I came and they let me to be a guard in the middle of the night from 12 to 3 o'clock to punish me. The only problem that I have a part of Yemenite with me, so it was quite naive. I really worked with a gun in the middle of the city, like in the place that was in the center of Israel, and keep. And I found out those days that my officer, the head of the units, and the other two, one of them was the food, the clothes, and the spare parts. I saw from far away lift, and I saw that he's have a ladder in the middle of the night. I went there and I find them that they are stealing from the army. So I put the gun and I put them. I decided, no, I don't let it go. And they tried to tell me that they are the officer. I said, I will shoot. Finally, the only way to get rid of me is to take me out from this base. They transfer me, during the time that they put me on the 1 month, I would go to weigh myself in the medical center in the army. And if you check my record in the army, you see that one day I have difference between another and 12 kilo. They didn't catch me. And they start, because I come every day, they didn't take all my clothes off. They say, okay, we'll take the clothes like 3 kilo down, because we had the clothes in Israel with the pocket here and there. So they took like 3 kilo down. I was 15 kilo, the 3 kilo down, 12 kilo. From there, those days, I didn't have a problem with the weight anymore, because I have the 54 kilo, whatever I needed to put to the front line. They'll send me back to the main base in Israel. There was all the Tironim, the first one coming, they come there. And then I applied to go to the parachute. So I went to the parachute. The only problem when they choose the parachute, I see that the two officers was two group, one called 890 and one 202. And I see that each officer, there's a you take him. They say you take him. Nobody want to take him because I was, maybe on the scale I was 54, but on the real life I was fly. Mosquito. Finally, the last one, they had to take me, so they took me finally. And this is when I arrived to be a parachuter. And usually when I jump in the summer, I come down in the winter. And I finished quite good, because I was quite afraid that they would fire, they throw me out from there, so I tried all the time. I guess I finished very good.
So you did well. You started with a 10-day posting, you extended that
third
to
time, 14 months now 14 months.
And went from 3 months then to 3 years in the army. Right. You'd wanted to be a pilot, but that wasn't possible.
I wanted, but I was afraid, because they will find out what is my way. When I finished the lieutenant, when I finished the 3 years, I decided that now I go to be a pilot, because I have all the record, what I did. So I thought now the voyage is not the issue. But when I went to make with the pilot, it's not the story of the rest of the army. They check you for each part. And then during the time that they checked me on the medical thing, they come with the ambulance, they took me to the hospital immediately. And they found out that I have like 100 of
high blood pressure?
I do not have blood pressure.
Arrhythmias?
The heart, yeah, something, a lot of
heartbeats.
Yeah, heartbeats. And they told me that I'm not allowed to walk much, not allowed to be excited. So I've been there for 3 days. It was the last day that they saw me. Then I went back to the army. I was another half a year in the army. And after 3.5 years, I finally was out of the army.
And we can see from the leaving photograph that you did the full time there in the parachute unit.
Yeah.
Having finished the army, you then went on to university and went on to study. You went to Hebrew University in order to study philosophy.
No, I want to study law. I want to study law, but my English was very lousy. And I sit next to the one that when they make an exam, I didn't realize that they make 4 lines. So I copy him, I fail. You know, in Israel in those days, they had a toto. If you fill up all the toto, you can get like those days $100,000. But if you did everything zero, you can get a ticket to Mexico. And they almost give me a ticket to Mexico from the exam because I did nothing right.
So instead of
So instead of this, I went to study philosophy. The second year I went again, I knew that I have 4 lines. So I decided this time to study. The problem is that after they accept me, if you study philosophy, really nothing else interesting with my character. So I went for the beginning for, I think, a month and a half to the University for law. But I said it's too dry, relatively with the philosophy. Philosophy, you can talk, you can live, like I like. So I finished university with philosophy. And in the middle we had the 73 war. And I think after this war, you feel that you really want to go out. I have a very good friend in university. His name was Jonathan Luria. He came to study university after he finished the army, after he was a hippie. He was older than me, but he has such a story that it reminds me the story of my father when he was in the Elsen. So he had a story, now I want to go to his life. So he told me all what he did in the world, where he traveled, how he hitchhiked, and he was all over Europe and United States. So we planned that we will go together after we will finish the university. The only problem was that he was such a good-looking boy, and every time that we place, you need to take the woman away from him. And I thought, we'll finish university, we'll go together, at least we'll enjoy on the way. In the meantime, I bought a ticket. We decided that we are going together. He will take me all over. My English was still very lousy, little bit better than now. And I bought a ticket. When we decided to go, 2 weeks before, he told me that he is not going. Found out that somebody fell in love with him, and later on I found out that he got married with her. So I had a problem. I had the ticket already. I told everybody that I'm going. Now if I don't want to go, I cannot go because everybody knows that I'm going. So I left. I bought a ticket and I went to Greece.
This was the beginning of the hippie years.
Yeah.
And I've had a number of people ask me who that handsome young man is in those 2 photographs. Who is that handsome young man?
Seems to me that is my time. Yes.
So this is you in your hippie years with plenty of hair.
That's right.
And you started the hippie years in Greece. How did it feel, this Israeli abroad for the first time? How did you cope with this idea of being away from Israel?
You don't speak any language. You go to Greece. You go to the plane. You see the Israeli on the plane. You suddenly start to have the border of language. It's the first time you leave Israel, not through Jordan or Egypt with the army. You leave Israel with the plane. So I realized that when I will land and the people will go, nobody have to talk because I don't speak English. And I just bought a ticket. And with what I talk, I don't know what to say again. I had money, I had the dollar. Even if I want to change it, I don't know what to do with change. In Israel, we never did all this kind of thing. So I land. I tried to say hello in Hebrew, the last one, that is the last Hebrew words that I said before I will stuck suddenly. And I was like the last one in the airport. The immigration need to pass me. But hardly could communicate. They fill up for me the paper and all of this. And then I left the airport. I realized that I have a dollar. The return, I came back. They let me go back. The officer, the immigration officer, went especially with me to change me like $10. But I have the money to take the bus to go to any place. So I come to the bus. And like idiot, I put the few drachma in my hand. He took it, and I stand, and I decide I go. When the last one goes, so the last station, I went down. And we arrived to Athens. I had on me like the bag that all the people collect. And I started to walk up and down in Athens. I didn't know where to go. In the moment before the changing of the money, I felt that maybe I sleep in the place. I fly in the morning back to Israel. Such a confusing thing. I arrived there and I remember maybe I passed too many times the same places. The lady came to me and said, "Seems that you don't know exactly what you want from yourself. Would you like to sit with us here?" And it was very easy in English to speak, but I didn't understand anything. I was so confused that I ran away. I tried to go to sleep those days on the garden in Athens, but maybe they know that they have more people like me. They kicked me out from the garden. I'm not allowed to sleep in Athens in the garden. I went to the bus station. I saw a bus going to any place. I paid the ticket, whatever he took for me, and I found myself later on in the place that's called Piraeus. I even don't know why I arrived there. I just wanted to go away from the place that the business was already, I think, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I arrived to Piraeus, and it was a huge garden in the place that I've been. I put the sleeping bag, I put all the bag underneath that nobody will steal it, and I fell asleep. I was so dead tired. In the morning, when I get up, I see all over bodies. I was in shock. I didn't know where I am. And I see so many bodies. When little by little you start to talk with the people, your English start to come back a little bit to you, and you find out that that's the port, that all the tourists coming here from here, they're going to all the island there. I was so excited. I thought, okay, I have another place to go. I start moving. And to go, I started to look for which boat to go. I didn't know exactly where to go. I went to this boat, it was like 12 o'clock, too far. Now it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. This one, 10 o'clock, this 2 o'clock. I found one that lived like at 9 o'clock. I went to the boat at 9 o'clock, and was the island Hydra. It was going to be any other island. This was a timing, not to go away. And I arrived to Hydra. It was a problem before, one thing I told her, it was before I left, it was something very interesting. I was in Israel University, and I wake up one morning, and I have a dream. And the dream was so strong, you almost can hold the dream, and he ran out from me, this dream. And I tried to catch, it was so strong, and I couldn't catch the dream. And it's gone. Now, when I'm on the boat to Hydra, the dream come back to me. I saw the boat, I knew what happened in the boat, I knew who I'm going to meet, and I knew that I know how the island that I'm going to look like. And I'm so in shock that I go along the first floor, and I know what I'm going to see in the second floor. And I go and I see it exactly the same. And I even met a German girl that I saw in the dream. And I went with them together, with her friend. We went to the island. We've been for a few days. And then I ran away to another boat to another place. But the dream was so strong, it's never happened in my life, something like this, that you see things that has happened before.
You travelled Europe extensively and ended up in Italy looking for a place, synagogue of Yom Kippur. Did you find that synagogue?
Yeah. I find. I was a Jew. Come from Israel. And I tried to reach the high holiday to Rome because I live in I come to Brindisi from Corfu Island. And I tried to reach to the high holiday to Yom Kippur to Rome, maybe to be in the synagogue. But when I arrived finally to Rome, I come to the synagogue. The last thing that they want to see is such a guy to be in the synagogue. I was like a walking terrorist, and they didn't let me go. So I remember this synagogue, this Yom Kippur, I was in the Vatican.
And you found the right kind of spiritual environment, which is good. You carried on your hitchhiking on to Germany and got a lift from an interesting German fellow?
No, this was in Geneva. In Italy, he took me to Fribourg. I was in Venice, and it's usually I will hitchhike. In principle, when I travel, my philosophy was $3 a day. I had $600. I know that that's the money that when the moment that it finished, I bought a ticket back from London. I have to arrive to London. The money finished, I go to the plane, I back to Israel. So as long as to leave, I know I put $3. If I make less than $3, after 2 days I have another day. I can get another day. That was the calculation. And so I never pay for transportation, only if I cross the country with the, like from Greece to Italy that I need to take a boat. I never pay for hotel because anyhow you close the eyes, so I sleep or on the field or under bridges or on the mortgage houses, all kind of things like this. The only thing that I spent for this was food. For the food I had usually bread, cheese, some olives and tomato. That's what I had, a plastic bag. And I have another plastic of 5 liters of water. That was my shower, my drinking. That was my... So like this I would walk all over. When I arrived to Venice, everything is water there, so you cannot sleep in the on the ground. So I slept in one of the demolished house, but the Italian wasn't so friendly, they called the police, so I need to run away from them. The next day, I hitchhike. You know, when I hitchhike, it doesn't make a difference if I go to this direction or this direction. If they didn't take me here, I would go to the road to this way, and go to the other way, because it doesn't make any difference, because I just have to spend the time. I still have like $500, so I need enough time to spend. And I hitchhiked with a guy, Porsche. Wow, he took me. And he took me from Venice all the way to Fribourg. And he stopped in Milan, he had an office in Milan. And on the way, he was such a good-looking man. When the way we found out that he's the head of the beer company in Fribourg. His wife usually fly by plane, but he liked to go with the Porsche. And he took me as a company. And as far as it was quite a long way, I shared with him my food. It was very, very interesting guy. And we arrived to Milan, I remember, he took me to his office. It was a huge office with the first time I saw such a table like all the army together, colonels sitting together. He sit me there, was with the show, and all the things would be on the side. And he had a meeting with all of them. It was very interesting, and he gave me a compliment. I hardly could understand, but on the way that everybody laughed, and everybody shook their head, I understood. He took me from there after this to Fribourg, and he didn't tell me that he's the head of the beer and all of this. He didn't tell me anything regarding to his financial situation. But if he had the Porsche and I had my water, I think that he had a little bit more than me. So we arrived to Fribourg. He told me, one thing I ask you, tonight you are not sleeping outside, you're sleeping in youth hotel. But you know, youth hotel there cost me like $3, so it's take me 1 day, I'm saving the day. He said, promise me. Okay, I promise you. We arrived there, invite me to one of the disco. And only when I arrived to the disco, I realized that this guy is so important. Just to see that he talking to me, people was amazed. Who is this guy? We went to eat in the restaurant. He took me for fondue. I remember. And he wanted me to stay a little bit longer, but I start to say, I start to be too much close to the guy, because I don't want the next day that I left Fribourg, I come to pay. I found out that he paid for it. I was quite embarrassed that somebody paid for the bill. But I continued from there all the way to Hamburg, to Denmark, to Sweden, Norway.
And you carried on traveling. You decided that the hippie and the hitchhiking days were coming to an end when you decided to go to New York to join your sister and her husband.
Yeah.
And when in New York, you didn't have much money, so you decided to start working. And one of your first jobs was pumping gas at a petrol station.
Right.
And how much fun was that?
It was very fun. It was on King's Highway, and what is the name straight there? You see, my sister, she's a pediatric surgeon. Suddenly a bomb came to her house. I came over. My sister all the time thinks that I'm very intelligent. I think she's not intelligent enough. So she wanted me to be a doctor, and I prefer to be one time a year patient and all during the year doctor. So I want to travel. She wanted me to study. She thought I was wasting my life. And we have different opinion. And definitely we have different opinion that I, looking for a job, I was pumping gas. It was such a shame because my brother-in-law, that he was a professor, he's a professor. I went to the gas station that he filled up gas. So it was two Israeli there. And soon I found out how the thief working in United States, all of these people with the gas station. I work there, and I usually get the shift from 8 o'clock in the evening until 6 o'clock in the morning. This was around January, February. It was very hot at night, freeze. And one of Saturday night that I work, I fill up the gas. And you see, usually the American is work like this. The kids at the Saturday night would come with the parents' car. They didn't have money. They ask you to fill up the gas $2. $2. You just make the machine like this. $2.10. So whatever's go more, you have to pay from your pocket. He gave me, because I didn't have a green card, they gave me $2 an hour. And with all the loss of the thing, sometimes I need to pay from my pocket for all the night that I work, because I lost, everybody wants $2, $1, $2, I lose a penny here, there, I lost the money. But I was independent. And one evening, around 8:30, 9 o'clock in the evening, the gas station was full of cars. And when I fill up the gas, the guy, I remember, asked $5. It was quite a big customer for me. I put him the $5. And another car want to fill up, and two giant people come to me. And they tell me to give them my money, to give the money. Come to rob me, simple. Now the law in the gas station is that they have a safe that you can drop the money there. You cannot have more than $50. If you have more than $50, you will pay. So every time when you have close to $50, you pack it, you write the amount, you put it in the safe, you come back outside. So most of the time, you don't have change. So whatever they pay, $1, $2 is enough, they close. But because they are $1, $1, I put two pockets here, I fill up the pocket. And the two giants coming to me, and they would like me, they ask me to give them the money. I look at them. After that, there is somebody come joking with me. Lieutenant in the army in Israel, they ask him to give the money. They say, no, don't disturb me. I go to the other one to fill up. They give me like this. They say, give me the money. I say, you're an idiot, I'm walking around. Leave it, do this. I go to the other guys. He give me a slap like this, and I didn't see, I didn't know where I'm standing suddenly. He give me a slap. I say, money. Okay, I give him the money. I gave him from here the money, and I gave him from here the money. And they left. Now, before they left, he had a gun. One of them was a gun. And he told me, if the police coming over here, what you saw, if they ask you about robbery, it was 2 black. I said, what? He says, 2 black. I a little bit was doubt. He make me very straight with 2 slaps to understand black. I saw black all the time. They went away, and I come with the guy that I gave him $5. I told him, did you see what happened? The amount come 5.5. I stopped the machine, the 5.5. So I was expected that he'd give me another $0.50. I said, sorry, I asked only 5. But you see what happened? They don't see. I went to the other one, they want to fill up the gas. You see, he didn't see either. They don't see. The Americans don't see anything. They don't want to be involved. I kiss everybody away. I say, I don't give gas anymore. All of you can go to hell. No service anymore. I went to call to the owner, the Israeli one. The Israeli one tell me, don't worry, stay there, continue to work, nothing happened. I got slaps. They took my money. You tell me don't worry about it. What I'm protecting about? What the nonsense? He said, don't worry. I said, they will come every moment, they take the money. Anyhow, you don't pay me the cent that I lose. Now you pay me the dollars that I'm losing. I got, okay. I close the phone, the telephone rings. Who's ringing? The robber. What happened? You cheated us. You give us only $33. We come now to you, if you don't have 100, we kill you. I start. I know I was in the front line and didn't die. I was in for Israel. Now I go to die for the guys in the United States. Well, I'm such an idiot. I talk to the guy. I start to look. That's all what I have. But this suddenly I find myself that I'm apologized that he wrapped me only with 30 people. So I wake up and I told him, you know what? Come. The police is on the way. Come. Because they warned us. Come. The police is on the way. Now, suddenly I hear the telephone drop. I didn't know if they're running to me or from me. But I decide that I leave this gas station, and if the gas station was here and my sister would live here, I would run like this. I come back, left the gas station, arrive home, called the gas station, the owner, I said, free gas, everybody can take it, I don't mind. I called the owner, I said, better you go there, your money, if you want your money, whatever. I never saw this gas station.
You had another couple of adventures in America, but I'm going to bring you to Israel quite soon. But you made a huge success in the garbage business, mafia recycling type business, and also you started up your own car business in America before you were finally drawn to Israel. Was it in America that you really recognized this entrepreneurial self in you, that you were capable of doing business?
You see, I thought that I'm a millionaire. Now I heard from all the side work that I did, one of them in New York was that I was in security of El Al. I had like $1,000-something US. Wow, I thought that I'm a very rich guy. I bought Volkswagen 1962. And I decided to cross the United States with a car. I arrived to Bloomsbury. It's a place that, except me, I don't think anybody else knows where is it. They blow up the car. And I got dropped again with the thing. They took me, I was AAA member. So they told me for the first gas station, they told me that I have to pay $400 to change the engine. I start shrinking with the money so quick until I make it. 400 right away they take. So I went around to this place called Bloomsbury. I found a guy that is mechanical. I said, no, what are you talking about? It's $25. I can fix it for you. That's the thing. He took me to his place. I come back. The car is hot. The engine is out. He told me $400. So I changed monkey with donkey. So finally, after around a week, they fixed the car. I have much less money. And I shrinking, the money already start shrinking. I arrived to Chicago, no much money. I look for how to find a job. And I arrived to a place in Chicago, on University of Chicago. If you pass University of Chicago, you come to what you call the Schwarze. So they let me go there, not because I was white, because I wasn't black. Not because I wasn't black, because I wasn't white. So I found a place so much dirt, and I thought, if so much dirt, they definitely need something. Come to the guy, he said that they need, he is recycling. What is recycling? All the used things, they can use it. What you do? For glasses, bottles, on 2 pounds, you can get 1 cent. For metal can, on 2 pounds, 1 cent. On stereo, on cardboard, on 1 ton of cardboard, you can get $8. And the one thing that I love the most was the Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is aluminum. You get 10 cents on 2 pounds. And by the way, until today, when I see Coca-Cola thing, I feel that I would like to pick it up. So the thing that really what I feel, I negotiate with the guy with the garbage, I negotiate with him for the cardboard. The cardboard, I tell him not $8, give me $10. He said, we came to all the black here, $8, why I give you 10? I said, because I will give you regularly, I will make with you. From there, I negotiate with him, and he agreed with $10. I said, you will get from me much more. Now, my Volkswagen, during the day, I would clean everything, put it in recycling, and during the day, I would fill up the car with full of garbage in any place. I was those days with all this beer, Yeshiva Bucher, after I finished philosophy, And you would see me along the street in Chicago, around the garbage can in the center, collecting around the university there, collecting, separate all the garbage, what is bottle, what is plastic, with all of this kind of thing. And I make living with this.
More than a living. I mean, actually, it was a very, very successful business.
I went to one of the I would call this the department, not department store, supermarket, and it was dirty, full of dirt around. I come to the guy, I look for who is the one responsible. I said to him, do you mind that I will clean all your thing over here? He looked at me, what's such an idiot? Who clean it? All this garbage. I said, do you mind that I take it? That I clean it? He looked at me and said, go clean the garbage, what do you want me? I said, okay. It was a treasure. I start in the United States, the wastage was so much. If you have a can and it's a little bit smashed, they don't sell it. They throw it. I would take all the cargo that what they get every day, the supermarket will get so much thing. I would start to come, collect all the garbage, all the cardboard, go to the recycling place, would smash it, type it, would make $10, another $10. It was like 2,000 kilo I could collect a day. And then with all the can, all the black around, instead of sell it, for example, on 69 cents or 59 cents, I would sell it on 10 cents to 5 cents, whatever the thing. And I start to see business. I remember when I negotiated for the $10, I remember the moment I saw that I'm absolutely succeeding in life because I had so much confidence. And I had there in the recycling place, they had a guy, the first time I met the Chinese one, his name was Mr. Wong. He worked in Volkswagen dealer. And he worked the butt out of him. He would start to work there, I think 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and finish around 5 o'clock afternoon, 5, 6 o'clock, and then he come at night to work in the recycling place. The guy in the recycling, his name was Ken, would give him a room for recycling free on the condition that he will fix his car, because most of his car was Volkswagen. He found out that most of the time he just fixed his car. He have no time to make money. So I told him, if he will teach me how to fix Volkswagen, I can do it for him and he can work for the car, the own car. So I will do it for even for the day that he's not here, I can fix for the guy. He had a wife. If you see her during the day, he had a nightmare at night. Like this, rule him. He was like a doggy. She really ruled him his life, disaster. So he started to teach me. I was very happy, and I started to know how to fix Volkswagen car. It was fantastic. And
with this success, both with the garbage business and ultimately the car business, you returned to Israel at about 28, 29 years of age, but not starting business right away. Your first job in Israel after the return was as a painter.
Yeah.
A house painter.
Any painter.
Wherever you could get the work. Your father was a diamond polisher.
Yeah.
And gradually, as you were trying to make your decisions about which way to go, you went into the diamond business yourself.
Correct.
And it was your father who taught you how to cut diamonds and recognize diamonds. And it must have been great after all this time to actually be working with your father in the same business that he had been in.
I don't think that he thinks like this.
What then took you from learning your trade in Israel in the diamond business, becoming successful in that area? What brought you then from Israel to Hong Kong?
Israel, the lira those days lost the value. In 79, if you didn't buy the pita in the morning, afternoon you couldn't buy the pita because the lira fall down. The only thing that deal in Israel by dollars was diamond. So it was complete idea because of the currency to look for to deal with the diamond, because I didn't think at all that I would go to the diamond because I see my father with the diamond how he could survive. So I didn't think that I would go to the diamond. But because of the dollar situation, I decided I go to study diamond. My father taught me to cut, how to cut. You know, the diamond have a few parts. They have a girdling, the roundy thing, and they have to cut each part. Somebody else teach you. My father was very happy to get rid of me after he teach me how to girdle, because I had too many principles that he didn't recognize. And I went to the neighbor that he taught me how to cut the diamond. But you see, when you work with when you are a worker, you see why the worker never have money. Because he's working, he don't have time to make money. So you see them working there all the time, they don't have money because they are working. So you have to think something, somebody else will work with you. You start to realize that you have to move others to work for you, that you will make the money. And from the polishing part, I would sit over there and all the time fighting the worker. These others, I couldn't stay there. They pushed me out. The system pushed me out. I was lucky that in the army I was a lieutenant, and in Israel I have a reserve. I was in the reserve. In the reserve, I had one of the soldiers had a shop, and he told me, I was his lieutenant, he told me, if you come with me with diamond, I will buy from you. When I finished the army, the reserve, I went to the factory that I worked. He gave me something that he had for a year, he couldn't sell it. I went to my friend, this one, my soldier, to his shop, and he bought it. And that was the last time that I ever sit on the machine. From this time I started to...
Did he bring you over to Hong Kong?
No, it was a guy, gentleman, his name was Molad. The fellow was Molad Moldavsky. He was quite a big customer of those days for me. He usually was bargaining and I don't give discount. And from all the things that he hated me, he loved it. So he thought that it would be secure for me if he will put a guy here with such a determination to fight for one price to run a business. And he offered me, I came for 1 month, I'm still here.
Now you came to Hong Kong and you immediately plunged yourself into seeing what Jewish life and cultural and religious life was like in Hong Kong. You became a member of the Jewish club, you played tennis there. Many of your friends were young men, also 30-odd years of age, starting to have families. You became very quickly involved in Jewish life and led what became known as the dining room revolt. What was that all about?
You see, I don't know if the Jewish club was so happy that I became so quick Jewish member. It was on those days when I came, it wasn't kosher here. And we had a lady here, Gus was the chairman, I think. Yes, Gus was the chairman. There was a lady here, American lady, that her husband was in oil. She was running she was the head of the JWS. She come with a fair all the time to ask money. You remember what is her name? They make, I remember the decision that children cannot be in the dining room. It was a decision that I was a single, nothing to do. I work from day at night. The only thing I come to the Jewish club is just to play with the kids for Sunday afternoon, and then I would go. Suddenly they come with such a nonsense decision, and I definitely didn't like it. So I collect all the children, come to the dining room, and start to sing with them, especially when she's coming. And she liked it a lot, and we had a quarrel with this, and make more noise. And her husband didn't like it, so I let him understand what she understood, and they left. And the law didn't work. I organized those days. It was Yaakov Tzion, the Darwish, Jack Dervish, me, was in our running guy. We play all the time, Beblington, and we play tennis. The place that we park all the time didn't let us play. And we decided that we not pay the fee. It was $500. Because we get nothing. We just pay, we get nothing. We decided not to play, especially after the law. They didn't want to take the law back.
This was the law about the dining room, or by now you were having problems
together. Everything go together. We didn't have a place to play, right, and all of this. If you remember, we had a problem with the net. That I have a friend, Casey Leong. You know Leong family, the big green. We fixed the net, we put it, we come to play. It was not live. Because they played all the night. If you can play in the morning, you start to play the morning tennis, they come to call you to minyan. Because you have no minyan, because you leave me with the minyan, let me play tennis. So I stopped to come in the night you don't play. So we come for the situation that we decide not to pay. Gas.
Pay the dues.
The
for
dues.
The
So,
JCC
yeah.
club.
Gas go to them, and each time from the pressure, pay or left. The Iranian one left the club, and I wait. Nobody call me. Now I never owe money to anybody. The stress that I owe money couldn't hold it is until after certain time saying, okay, take the money. I don't want anymore the thing. But the law with the children cancer, we didn't ignore it.
So you fought your way through the Jewish club and Jewish culture here, but then politics took over because in 1983 Margaret Thatcher came to Hong Kong.
Yes.
Did that have any impact whatsoever on your business and the
Yes.
diamond trade?
Yes.
What happened?
You see, the property, Thatcher come here after Falkland. She thought she'd come to another Falkland, to Chinese. The Chinese teach her a lesson that is not Falkland here. And at the time, the property price dropped to 25% of the value, market value, 75% drop. Those days, most of the people that deal with diamond, for example, they had property too. They borrow money, they pay 10%, the bank give them loan, but everything was involved. And then it was very dangerous because you give goods to the people and they run away. Because the property, the bank ran after them, they lost the property. If you remember, there was Korean group those days, very giant group that they bought the Miramar Hotel, and then they lost it. They bought it, I think they bought it after this, who bought it for them to 20% of what they pay.
Did you lose anything as a result of that coming?
Yes, I had a customer that he bought ticket one way, and he never come back. I sold him, I was involved with $400,000. That's when I lost all my hair. Now, at the stress, I remember I would take a shower and I would wash my hair. Such a stress. Yeah.
You survived because you're a survivor, and the following year, 1984, you started your own business.
Not extra. I was a partner with Mulad. And Molad told me all the time, look, the market is difficult. When the market starts to go up, we start from the beginning. We'll buy rough, we'll go to polish, we'll go together. But the market starts to be better, and I asked Molad, what about our agreement? He said, look, other people help me, I need to help them. So I said that the story will not go far. I had one of the customers, my partner of today, she worked with the Sumin Chong company, Chinese company, that there was one of the first one in Hong Kong, Tai Heng. It was the first, she was one of the family. She worked for them. I saw that whatever you give her, if you give her what she wants, is a deal. So in '84, she met a guy, she's going to get married, and I told her before, if ever, I saw the way she bought, I say, if ever you would like to have a partnership, I'd be very happy to have a partnership with you. And those days I had a company like Fuhan, Chow Tai Fu, they bought millions of dollars. But I saw with her, you come, you give her as a deal. So I thought, anyhow will not make with you partnership, but I thought. So one day, we met, and she asked me if I think that, I said, absolutely yes. And we become a partner. Before we become a partner, I notified Molad. I told him, Molad, as far as I see that you cannot, so I'm not with you in the beginning. I have a Chinese girl that I'm going to make a partnership. You will not be partner with me on the end. So what we'll partner, it will be on the wholesaler. He was very happy because he got rate for me because I'm quite obnoxious. And the thing was, later on, he found out that it was against him because the jewelry business started to be quite very successful.
And thank goodness you're still in business with the same partner and things
Yes,
continue.
we are almost 30-year partner.
1989 was very, very big year for you. You been looking for that very special diamond of your own, the waifu that you could live your future with. You placed ads in newspapers, you had thousands of replies, but you couldn't find the 8-carat diamond that you were looking for.
10.
Very good. So how comes you meet this child, a woman 20 years younger than you? How did Penina become the jewel in your life?
How she become the target? The victim. You see, I found out if you want to catch fish, you go to the ocean. So I put ad in the newspaper. I want to see until 38, I really didn't think that I ever will get married. The idea was that, you know, in Israel, I born the time that the country was very difficult. And in my family was really difficult economic life, not because my father, for our family, his parents came at 49, 10 years after him. And as in Israel, when you came, you have to take care. He was first. He had to take care for his parents, for his sister, for his brother. So hardly could finish a month. And he worked like 24 hours. I would go to sleep at 12 o'clock, he would work. I would wake up at 5 o'clock, he already would work. So economic life was very, very tough. I think this part of the thing that I say, I will not get married if I will not be solid economic. It doesn't matter that after this you find out that you can be solid like Madoff, and then overnight is wiped out. This later on you study. But I thought if you will not feel that you are economically sane, you will not get married. At 38, the coins come down. So I decided, okay, I'm ready to get married. So to get married, now I run against time. All my friends are already married, they have problems, they have children, they argue, with all of this I have nothing. All the time I have only good time. So I decided to join the group. So I put ad in the newspaper, and I had a box, post box in Israel that they would send there. I want everything with handwriting and a picture. The problem that some of them send somebody else's pictures. And when I come to Israel, I thought that it's not nice that to call them to the hotel like who you are. I would take a car and I drove from Jerusalem to Haifa to Hadera to this. But I thought on such a way I will not reach far. And then I even registered to a company called Helena. If ever she still exists, I don't suggest it. Look, cost me money, look, nothing. What they send to you, better don't get married. And then we've been here, Darwish. Darwish and me, we had hate-love relationship. They couldn't swallow me, they couldn't throw me out. But they want to do something, I don't know if they want to enjoy to make me marriage, it was like a target to marry this guy, or they want me a little bit suffering, or they want to enjoy what they are doing. So their sister from Thailand was here, and she said, oh, how come you are not married? I said, if you have somebody, I'm ready to get married. I knew that she had a daughter. I said, I'm ready. You have a daughter. I'm ready to get married. You put the thing. I'm not afraid of the subject. That's what I'm doing. So she told me she have a very good friend of her in Bangkok, that she have 6 children, and one of the daughter is 100% for you. You meet her, you marry. I said, magician, you got the deal. Give me, but before we go to meet, show me the picture. It took her time to come back. And when she came after this one more time, and she didn't give what she suggested to give, I make her such a loose face that she knew that this time she had to go to give me something. And I remember who was in the hospital? Oh, Flori. Flori was pregnant, the wife of Jack Darwish. And his brother Shlomo come from Thailand. They would sit there in the hospital. She just delivered, and he gave me an envelope. I open the thing, give me a picture. Here's the model and the telephone number. Now, my brother need to get married on the week after this, on Thursday, and it was, I think, the time that she delivered. It was a week before, because I make with her condition. I remember we walked with her around the pig that she delivered it already, because after I will not be in the breed. So finally she delivered, I'm from the breed, went to the airport. So we got the telephone number. I called to the lady, and just night before I come, I said, look, I got your telephone number. If you like, I can fly to London. I can meet you, and after we see, just fix for me hotel. They notified her. She didn't notify her. She said, okay, she fixed the hotel, but I have a condition of what kind of hotel I want. I didn't want more than $100, and gold is green. So I needed to fly. It was, I think, Wednesday that I called her. Thursday I needed to fly. It was, and I get up in the morning. I don't have, I think those days we don't have any fax or any telex or whatever. We didn't get any information. I don't know if I fly to meet it or no. And it's the first time in my life I bought first class ticket. Oh, was such a class. So I arrived. At 4 o'clock, I gave it to her because I need to fly. I give her a call and I gave it to her. What, you want to meet me? There's no hotel, nothing. So she told me, oh, she had a hotel, but she didn't know how to reach me or whatever. Finally, we met. I came to London. We met in the Golders Green. We went to eat lunch. She asked, what do you like? She said, whatever you like, and I understand, whatever I like. I went to a Chinese. The only problem, when I ordered the food first, I went to she order, she's not eating it. She's Orthodox, she's eating only kosher. So what did I eat like an idiot? But she even didn't drink the tea. So I finished, and I asked her if she would like to meet tonight. This was Friday night. And she said, okay. I didn't know if it's excitement or no. I said, okay. We meet, she told me to meet in the front of the bus station. I was so dead tired. In the meantime, she wanted me, I think I make a few telephone calls, but she thought that she get fed up with me because I needed the Japanese to close any deal if she didn't understand me. So she went to the room and I went to sleep. I was dead tired. I wake up at 5 minutes to 6. We need to meet at 6 o'clock and to go for Friday night. And I thought for myself, the hell with this, what I go, such a kid, 21 years old, I'm 41. What I go to meet with a friend right now to dance with all these kids, what I will do to myself. But anyhow, I dress up and I ran to the bus station. Sure, nobody's there. So I thought, oh, another exercise of this girl. She could say no, but she say yes. So I walk around the bus station around to see, maybe I don't understand because the first time I'm there, I don't. Second time, don't meet anybody. I thought, okay, the exercise succeed. She did it to me, and now I fly Saturday night anyhow. I decide to make opposite terrain. I meet her. Seems to me that we are moving like this. And then we walk. She's Orthodox. We walk all the way to her friend. And I thought to myself, wow, what kind of fun we are going. We arrived to there, I find out that I'm very young. We come to a friend of her parents. The guy was 65, I think. I was 41, I was young. His wife, his mother and his wife's mother. I was very young. He was a jeweler, and he was the head of the Likud party in England, Mr. Grouse. And it was a fantastic night. And if I remember, I could propose her in the same night. So, but anyhow, we walked back, and the next Saturday she made me know London by foot. And then I flew to Israel. Nothing happened, I flew to Israel. The wedding of my brother is the Thursday, I need to go to help. Nobody knows that I met anybody. The wedding passed, and Monday I come back to London. I need to continue to New York the next day. And then I thought, what for? I will fly a Tuesday. But when I remember when I landed in London, I was a shock of my life. She's there. Now, it's a 10 years that I'm in Hong Kong. I would fly like 8 times a year to Israel. I fly to Singapore. Nobody ever wait for me in any airport. I just go like a salesman all the time, running. Nobody put them on me. Suddenly, a woman that I just met came to the airport to meet me. I was in shock. I was completely confused. I changed the flight from instead tomorrow at Wednesday. So, at Tuesday night, I have nothing to do, I propose her.
This is just the second time you've been with her. The second time.
Why? It's not the problem that I proposed her. The problem was that she said yes. I was in shock. Because I never in my life proposed. I even thought to propose. Suddenly, these kids tell me, now I'm in. You know, it's a business. You are in, you can't go out. I said, no, ask your mother. I don't want to take the responsibility.
So, hang on. So, having met Penina in August of 1989,
right.
You were married already by October of 1989.
Quite long.
And having proposed just on the second time.
Yes.
And thank God everything's gone very well, and certainly it seems as though your wife...
She is no son, only Garen.
Another major event in 1989 was the establishment of the Carmel School.
Yes.
And that was something that you also played a role in.
No, the establishment was in 91. Now she opened the key, I'm going to say to take everything out from the same out. I was the chairman of the school of the JCC. There was the Jewish Recreation Club, which was in Marlboro Plaza. It was Eric Bear, if I'm not mistaken. I was the head of the synagogue. At the time we saw that people with family hardly coming to Hong Kong. And it was, by the way, before even I met her. And we saw that no children almost. Most of the time that people that come to Hong Kong is a young couple or one, or if they come with their things for 2-3 years they are leaving because no school, no the. So I thought for myself, if we want ever to establish anything in Hong Kong, there have to be a school. But those days we had Rabbi Avzon before was a rabbi of this community. He was the only rabbi that was only 1 year. All the other one, we killed them after 2-3 years. Here we make it shorter. So the Darwish was very dominant in the community, and it was quite tough time with them. It was just after we let them understand that better they will open their own shoes and own shul, and I helped them. And in the committee, I started to talk about school. To open your school. I went to the Darwish to suggest them if they would like to open the school together. They come with the idea that they want it will be Orthodox, to separate between female and male. You want regular, no Orthodox, nothing. No, you can also from there and drop them. At the same time was Avzon here. Avzon was quite, Rabbi Avzon, he was quite out of the community. He opened those days a kindergarten with the lady, I don't remember her name, she lived in Haifa, and he had like 3 or 5 kids at the same time. I came to propose him if he want. He definitely, will never lose opportunity. He liked it. We talked about, and he told me that here, on the contrary, in Hong Kong, you have a guy, Ivan Greenstein, his soul will rest in peace. He was in Hong Kong. He said, I know a guy that he opened the school, that he was the head of the school in South Africa, and maybe we can bring him to a pictures. I said, very good. I think that it will be very good. He in touch with Ivan Greenstein, and Avzon, different than me, is very good. Everything with him is filing and all of this kind of thing. We had all the meeting of the OLA, of the Jewish Recreation Club. When I try to find all the meeting of those days, I don't find them. Nobody can find all the things. They say they wipe them out. I will find twice. I try to find. I thought this time I'll find. They say no, they cannot find. Everything wiped out. And we start the school like this. We start the school on the synagogue. And I remember that when we start the school, the David Darwish said, if ever find here the school, they will leave the synagogue, and there was the one that created the minyan in the synagogue. So if they will leave, we'll have no minyan in the thing. So we started, I think we come, all of us, at Sunday night, prepare it, and Saturday morning, David Darwish and the group came and saw the school, and he was very angry, and I approached him and I said, I think that you should keep your word. You say that you will leave, so I think that is the time to keep your word. And in the same night, I think the same night it was, I just come from the office, when I pass, I see light, I saw a car on the back side of the gate, parking there. I parked my car, I see it's close above this, and I found the Darwish taking the Sefer Torah, the Sefer Torah of them, yeah, they donate Sefer Torah, and all the Sidurim, they're taking out from the synagogue, and I decide to help them because that's what they want and that's what I think is really good for the community. I help them. I said it's just a shame that we take the Sefer Torah like a thief. Instead we'll make it openly. And that was the last time that there was in the community. They left after this to Shuva Israel.
Look, it's a fantastic contribution that you made to Hong Kong with the Karma School, and it's one of our most visible signs of success in Hong Kong of the entire Jewish community is being involved in the school, and nothing can be more important to a community than a school. So it's a fantastic contribution. I just want to say, time in Hong Kong goes faster than anywhere else in the world, and unfortunately, we're already sort of quite close to the point where we have to finish. But what I want to ask you is, to you, how important to you is the Jewish community in Hong Kong? And does it continue to be very, very important to you? Do you remain involved in projects for the Jewish community?
I tell you, I think Hong Kong community is the best community in the world. If not the best, the one of the best, but I'm sure the best. We pass together here time. Doesn't matter the argument here, argument there. There is any family, like in the family going, but the family is a family. Is a community that prove itself on not one time, that they are responsible, that they are care, that they are wise, that they are doer. Is a community that see a future from my point of view. If you see the cut of the community is different than any other place in the world. We didn't born here. All of us business people, except the young generation. All of us business people, Mr. Green and all of us new generation here, new people here, that we are business people. The city is so expensive. If you come, when I came, you had 1 year to work out. If you didn't succeed, you leave. Today, when you land from the plane, if you didn't start selling, take the next plane, go back. Because it's so expensive, it's very competitive. So the people that stay usually is completely different level than what you are seeing usually around the world. It's make the best of the best from my point of view as a doer with responsibility, with the target of the people that here, and I'm very proud. And we had few incidents here, especially this wide time with the Aaron, with the child. You could not see better place in the world than this community that never go home from work, go back to the hospital. In the morning before go to work, they go to the hospital. You need support, any support, time, money, help, whatever, is no place, even in a family, could be so close like this community, and I'm very proud about this community.
And you recently organised the Torah campaign for the Sefer Torah campaign for those who didn't have families, to care for them, remember them after their death. That was an amazing project, and that worked again for the whole community wide. Are you involved any more in any projects, or have you decided that your contribution to the Jewish community in Hong Kong has to take a second place now to development of your business and your own family? You're taking your daughter off to America for college. So.
Yeah, you see, I think one of the amazing things of the work with anything in this community is to approach the people at the right time for the right thing. With the Sefer Torah, it's really take me less than 2 days to collect the sum for the Sefer Torah. You give a call to the people, you tell them very clear, I don't want you to donate because I'm calling for this target. There are many other targets that they are more important, but this is the target. I think only one guy told me, Avi, I don't mind, but between you and me, I just finished to write Sefer Torah. I say you don't have to pay. You finish Sefer Torah, you don't have to pay. Except, I have to say, it's a wonderful community, no refusal, not feel bad feeling if I'm calling, and I'm going to call you again, by the way, because it's going, is another thing right now going that I try to make as much as possible people involved in the committee is Rabbi Führer. I don't know if you hear, all of you, about Rabbi Führer. Most of the community, I make a committee of 25 to 30 people that I would like to involve as much as possible people. Rabbi Führer is a marvelous guy. The only bad thing about him that his name is start with Rabbi, but his name, Rabbi Führer, he is a guy, saved like 150,000 lives. He's a guy that know all the best doctor. By the way, Zweig, when Zweig was, when Aaron was, he was involved, and Zweig said that he ready to work with this, with Aaron for all of this. In anything disaster in the world with sickness, you know, the best doctor, he refer you, he can read X-ray. He is a phenomenon that even places that people went to the doctor and they told them that they have only 6 months, and just yesterday I hear it, 6 months, Ben and what's her name, Yael, Malka, the father of Yael, just told me yesterday how his brother, he had 6 months to live. No, they said no, nothing. He was very down. He knew that everybody knew that he's going to die. He met with Rabbi Führer. He referred him to the doctor. He still lives until today. It was 15 years ago.
It's a remarkable project you're involved with. The contribution you've made to Hong Kong over more than 35 years since you've been here, nearly 35 then, could never not be acknowledged. It's been remarkable. Nobody would expect you to be a silent member of this community. Avi Nagar, thank you very much indeed for sharing.
By the way, in the crowd is sitting one lady that know me over 30 years. She's my secretary. Right now she got certain thing to close for all the years that she didn't do.
We've run late, but if anybody has a question, 1 or 2 questions, that's all. But we've run late, so they're going to have to be very short questions, and they're going to have to be very short answers. Any questions, or is everybody ready for the barbecue?
Why was Danina in London the second time you were there? How did she flew her to London? Did she come specially to meet you, or she was there?
No, she lived there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She was. No, don't be sorry. She lived there.
The other questions I'll ask him.
When you worked all those jobs in the States, Avi, were you there on a tourist visa?
Yeah.
I didn't have a visa, man. It's okay. And then I had a visa a month and a half, and I forgot to go out. Second year in 10 months.
Better question would be, does he have an ID card now with phone numbers? Ladies and gentlemen.